So also the diagnostic character of the disease, the symptom, the basic of diagnostic. And then the object of diagnostic, the dose of diagnostic, the means of diagnostic. There's a different kind of way to diagnose disease. The first one is the basic of diagnostic. So this one is the basic of way to diagnose is the imbalanced lung, tiba, pagan, and the respective symptom produced by them. The lung have its kind of different kind of symptom. The tiba, like, I just give an example. If someone is suffering from lung disease, when we ask them, last night do you have any sleep? They say no. You feel like something like a heavy on your lower back? They say yes. How's your appetite? It's not so good. How's your mental? They say I'm not healthy. No, I keep thinking and all these things. What kind of works you are doing? They always tell I'm working too much, My boss is a very bad person and they're telling like this. How's your relationship with your family? It's very not good. So lung kind of person, this is sign and symptom for the lung disease. Do you feel, if some people say, I have a back pain, I have a joint pain, especially when I go outside in the windy places, this also tells us there is something wrong with the lung. So like a Tibetan person, if I bring a Tibetan person, the person, I'm always thirsty, I have a pain over here, even my urine color is yellowish types of things. I am not able to when I go in the sun, I don't feel like I feel like a burning sensation, all this, and also I feel like, especially this part of places, I'm having a pain and all this, and then that means the person it shows that it's sign and symptom for the Tibetan disease. Like in a pagan, the people I have a digestion problem, always constipation. My body is cold. Also, I have a kind of problem with the stomach. It's always like making some trouble. So this also tells us the pagan disease. So these are the symptoms for the respective symptoms produced by the lung, tiba, pagan. So you have a little knowledge about lung, tiba, pagan, right? It's very important, whenever we tell something, if you have to bring back all this knowledge, what is the lung, what is the tiba, what is the pagan. So otherwise when I explain, it's very confusing, because if this is your first time to learn the Tibetan, it's very confusing. So since there isn't a single disease that doesn't include in the hot and cold nature, this is a very unique yin and yang in a Chinese medicine. In our medicine, in dark and sick. So hot and cold. Whatever the disease, there are countless of disease, but all disease comes in these kind of things. Hot in nature, cold in nature. Lung and pagan in a cold and tiba in a cold in nature. So this is very important. Even we check the pulse. First, we always find out whether disease is the hot in nature or whether disease is a cold in nature. Then it makes sense. Otherwise, you are not differentiate whether the disease is hot or not. There's no chances to diagnose the disease. So always find out. Maybe you will discuss more about what kind of pulse for the hot disease, what kind of pulse for the cold disease. In a pulse section, they will tell you. Pulse, like a hot disease, pulse are strong, it's moved faster, like this. Like a cold disease, it moves slowly, it's quite weak when you check the pulse. You just check your pulse, When you have a disease, it's the hot in nature, your pulse moves faster, it's more like a strong. Sometimes when you have a pagan disease, your pulse also kind of weak. So all this is very important. Hot and cold disease. This is lunar, this is solar, this is the lunar. Right? Solar and lunar. So according to that, we also make a medicine. When we, when we make some medicine, all the medicine should come in this side. For hot disease, we prescribe the medicine which have a cold in nature. For cold disease, we have a medicine which have a hot in nature. These two have to go always with the opposite direction. So this is very important, hot and cold disease. The fever also. In a Western medicine, fever is, if your temperature is go high, then can be you have a temperature and it's a fever. But in our medicine, we also have almost like 18 or 16 types of fever in a Guishi. heating fever, and many kind of disease. Heating fever, so many kind of empty fever, like there's many types of, almost like a fever is also categorized almost like a 16 types of fever in our traditional medicine. So this is also important part and coordinates. The disease are further divided into two, like this. It comes like this, you know, the many disease, then it comes lung, Tibet again, at the end it is the hot and cold. So this is the unique, I think these things are not talking in a Western medicine, whether your disease is hot, especially someone have a problem with the liver, probably that kind of disease is hot in nature, because liver is also in a fire element. It's the bang of the blood also. So if someone have a kidney problem, this is more related with the cold in nature. So these are things very important. So it can be diagnosed on the basis of hot and cold nature. So symptom is different also. If someone have a hot kind of disease, they feel like a fever, they always feel like a vomiting, they always have a diarrhea and all this. And that means that this disease is kind of categorized in a hot in nature. This is important, two types of. So the objects of diagnosis are the following: the five sensory organ and their respective object. Eyes. From eyes also we can learn so many diseases. From eyes we can find out whether the person is suffering from TB or not, whether the person has some problem with liver or not. So in our medicine, sometimes if people have an eyes problem, we always go think about the liver. These two are very much connected. The eyes is flower for the liver. So sometimes if someone has an eyes problem, we don't go treatment for the eyes, we just treat the liver, the eyes problem will go. This is the interconnected organ in our physical body. Eyes and liver, nose and lungs, ear and kidney, right? Spleen and lip, trunk and heart. Sometimes you easily find out if someone have a heart problem. We don't need for ECG and all these things. Easily find out from your tongue. No? Some people have a many crack on the tongue, you know, like this. So we find out on the disease. If someone have a problem with the lungs, we can find out the symptom from the nose. Someone have a problem with the kidney. Someone have a problem with the kidney, also we can find out it's from the ears. The people who have a sound in our ears, sometimes you know that kind of sound in our ears. Many people have this kind of problem. People always have something sound inside the ear. This also in our medicine, this is nothing. It is symptom which someone have a kidney problem. Kidney problem. So for that we have to treat the kidney, not the ear. So this is very interesting thing. By checking your tongue, we can find out whether you have a heart disease or not. By checking your nose, we can tell you have a lung disease or not. By checking your ears, we can check out whether you have a kidney disease or not. By checking your lips, we can tell you whether you have a spleen disease or not. So this is very interesting thing. This is something which are very unique in our traditional medicine. I think this is completely not in a Western medicine, especially for this kind of tinnitus, people who have a sound in like a one sound in their ear. In a Western medicine, they simply go to treat the ears. But for us, there's another chances. We always think about there's some lung in a kidney. We go for the kidney treatment. It goes automatically. This is just a symptom. For us, this is just a symptom, but in a Western medicine, it's disease. So these things are very important to keep in mind, especially liver and eyes. If someone have a problem with the liver, chronic types of liver problem, the symptom always come with the eyes. Your eyes become a yellowish, also is a reddish kind of eyes. That shows that you have a problem with the kidney. For that you don't need to go for the treatment for the eyes. You have to give a medicine for liver. So it's very important. If someone have a blockage nose, making a sound in the nose, it tells if someone have a lungs problem. So this is very interrelated in our...
And for the kidney, you said what is the symptom?
Symptom in the ear. Is the making a sound, especially kelung. Kelung in a sense, lung in a kidney. You know, the people, this kind of people have problem is very available in our area. Where the place is very cold place like this, and the people have a problem with the sound in the ear, like a sound in the ear. So for that, for us, the kelung kegi nashi now, that means that if there's a lung in a kema, sometimes there's a chances to damage your ear. So these are the very unique things which something you can learn from traditional Tibetan medicine. Sometimes also if someone have a heart problem, we always check the utron. Simply we find out. Sometimes also we can find that the person have a lung problem or not from tram. Lung is in mansion karna so tiji pegen kasil to yo pegen kale tane jamna. That means lung kind of disease. When you check the tram, it's kind of reddish, it's rough. This is also very interesting thing. From also eyes, you can check so many things. It's your own experience. Sometimes there's some patient come, you not necessary to send them for laboratory or not, all these things. Sometimes you just simply check by yourself, use your finger. If someone have a complaint, have an eyes problem, you just make them to close one eye. You keep raising your hand, I keep asking how many fingers are there. If they tell it's a 3, that shows that they have a problem with the eyes. It's not necessary to go with the machine. If you just raise them, keep asking them how many fingers. If they still say it's 3, then just raise it. If they say it's a 2, then this means that they have a problem with the right eyes. So if someone have an ears problem, you just simply let them to concentrate on you just hit the table, and if they are very sensitive, that shows that they don't have much problem with the ears. So this is the things we learn from the patients. So it's very important. So otherwise, sometimes when you are not able to diagnose, you always send them to laboratory. So you can also check by your own technique, let them to feel whether if someone have a neurological problem, just please check me, press it like this, if someone if they can press more, it shows that their nerves is quite strong. If you just do like this and this is not so strong, then you can simply tell that they have some neurological problem in the lifestyle. So this is the true way we are finding what kind of sign and symptoms. So it's very easy. If someone have a problem with this problem, if you do a shake for them and then just ask them to press your hand more and more, then later they feel like a pain here. This shows they have a neurological problem with the right hand. So these are the things, something which you can do anytime. It's not necessary for you to go through all laboratory and all these things. So this is interesting things. Also sometimes you can to find out the disease is very interesting things. The people, those who have a problem with the organ, sometimes eyes problem related with the liver, the trunk and the heart, and this and lip and spleen and the kidney and ears. This is especially kidney and ears. Even the shape is very similar. If you write the kidney in a diagram and then the ear, our ear and kidney shape is very, very similar. Kidney shape also comes like this. Our ear is also same like this, you see. If we say that our eyes is flower to liver, our ear is flower to kidney, our leaf is flower for the spleen, and also our nose is for flower for kind of the lungs. So always interesting for us, when the patient comes inside the clinic, we always see how they work, how they react, what kind of skin color they have, how they talk with the doctors. This also a way to find out the symptoms. If someone comes and keep telling you so many things, it happens sometimes when we ask the patient to please sit down, they always have a habit to they sit for 2-3 minutes, then again they wake up, then again they sit there, and then again they tell us so many things, I have a blah blah this problem. Even we ask them a question, they don't care about the question. They always keep telling their own problems. So this tells us that person is, I think, suffering from lung disorders. That is very important to know about all these things, especially those who have a mentally ill. The patient always reacts to something different. When we tell them you have a problem, this problem, they always say, please doctor, I don't have such a problem. They are always kind of very opposed to the doctors. If I tell them, I think you have a gastric problem, they say, I don't have any gastric problem. Then you have to be very careful when you diagnose the disease. You have to find out. Then at the end, if you already tell them you have a gastric problem, the patient comes in, I don't have a gastric. If you tell them, I'm sorry, I was wrong, that is not good for them. That is not good for yourself also. So always should be very careful with kind of, to find out each and every symptoms. So even the patient is, reacting something different, like, moving around. It's also not a final decision that person have a lung disorders. Still you have to check a pulse. Lung itsani, that means when you check the lung pulse, sometimes it keeps stop. When you press, it stops. When you press, it stops. Then also you have to check the urine. Also you have to check the eyes. Also you have to check their mental attitude. So you have to find out each and every, it takes a time. But for the proper diagnostic, it's very important to check all these things. Then, especially we already discussed about eye, then ear, hearing problem. We already discussed, if someone has a problem with the ears, but it's not necessary if someone has an ear problem, it's not necessary it is the problem with the kidney, but many symptoms related with the kidney problems. It's just simply a symptom. Then nose, also. Then it's the tongue. It's a very important tools from which we can learn so many diseases, from which we can learn whether the disease is related with the lung or not, from which we can find whether the disease is Tibetan disease or not, from which we can find the disease is related with the heart or not. So it's very important to learn something. Some people have also tongue like this, cracking like this. This also some kind of heart problem. Some people have a crack like this in the middle of trunk. This also sometimes symptom for the heart disease. Then you just ask them whether you have a heart problem or not. Some people keep asking whether you feel sometimes chest pain, the tightness, the palpitation, Sometimes people heartbeat goes very fast, pop, 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 like this. So this is also from these kind of things you can also. Then this also, if you find something problem with the tongues, you are able to diagnose disease around 20%. Then you can check the pulse. If the heart pulse is not kind of inaccurate, it's beat so fast. So especially those who have a palpitation, your heart pulse always beat, 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 like this. It's beat so fast. So it's easily find out. You don't need to go for all this ECG and all these things. So it's kind of things which you learn from. Then from your body, it's also body, also we can learn so many things. If you have a bad smell on the body, that is kind of related with the Tibetan disease. If you have a yellowish kind of skin, then this is also kind of a Tibetan disease. If you have a kind of posture like this, you are coming like this, we simply find out, I think something wrong in the spinal cord. So if you have a joint pain, if the patient coming like this, you can simply find out, I think that patient has some problem with the arthritis or the neurological problem. So medical students should be a very kind of intelligent. Whenever someone is going around, you can easily find out. If you are aware of all these symptoms, even you meet some person, you can easily find out whether that person is drinking too much or not, whether that person is smoking too much or not. You can easily find out, no need to focus smell and all these things. Even you can find out whether that person have a liver problem or not. The chronic liver, people always have a kind of brownish skin, the eyes yellowish, stomach become like this. It's very easy to find out. Especially those who have a kidney, people always they have eyes like coming down like this. They are physically kind of very pale. Especially those who have anemia, low hemoglobin, easily find out. You need not to go for the CBC. You need not to go for the laboratory to check your blood. Just simply check your finger. Do like this, it's easily find out whether you are in a low hemoglobin or not. Just simply check from your palm, you can easily find out. Just check from eyes, you can easily tell the person is anemia or not. Anemia in a sense, low hemoglobin, low blood in our body. These are something we can learn from our physical body without machine. So these things are very important, especially when you learn the medicine. Yesterday, I also told you, when I teach my students, when you go around, see the people, you just make some clue when the people is going around, like, you know, some people, they are very big, you just make, I think that person have some problem with like this, that person have some problem with the lower back pain. You have to make your own exercise, then slowly you learn a lot.